Do you think your heart can lead you to your destiny?
Is honesty really the best policy?
Are the people you trust worthy of such an honor?
Or is there an agenda hiding?
These questions are things that we answer all the time when dealing with people.
And our tale can answer those questions quite clearly.
This is the tale of how my family was dispersed. My name is Zetterburn, the fire's roar. My life was dedicated to the Firelands. Every flicker in my soul resonated with the kingdom. I was noble, I had to take care of it.
My name is Forsburn, the exiled flame. My life was also not my own, but my kingdom's. The smoke that came from the fire was the kingdom's to give off.
I worked on the battlefield day and night. When I was young, I worked as a soldier, constantly giving all I had to protect this place. Not a day would go by without me giving a piece of myself to the Firelands.
I acted as a diplomat. My job was to assure that the pieces given off by my brother and his comrades were still kept in one piece. The amount of knowledge I sought after as I studied in my youth was immeasurable. The land of Aether had many wars in its time. If you were to look outside our nation from a distance, one might just denounce it as entropy. But in such times of peril, my brother and I were a solid duo, meant for taking the wars to our enemies.
As I cleaned up the battlefield with my friends and allies, my brother was dealing with complicated stuff with our father as his right-hand prince.
My persuasion alongside my father's demands led to a lot of treaties with neighboring lands like Watertown. There were also areas like the Aetherian Forest that refused to comply. Zetterburn grew up to be a general of the Firelands and won many a victory for the capital, a good worth with thought impossible. That's where Zetterburn's tenacity and ruthlessness on the battlefield makes his mark.
We were finally going to take on the Aetherian Forests, one of the biggest places in Aether. Forsburn and Dad knew that we were going to be in for a long scrap if they didn't want to listen. And given the way they handle outsiders, conversation is something they don't do well in.
I knew my dad and I were going to have a long discussion that day trying to break the ice, and they were as consistent as you'd expect. I still remember trying to explain why we were there for about 3 hours. Zetterburn came as my bodyguard and as a general.
The talk was as upsetting as it could get. I didn't know much about politics, but I was dialed in to know what was going on. Forsburn was making all the sense in the world. Every question they had, Forsburn had an answer for. I believed with all my heart that the Firelands was the best place to be, even to the point of it being foolish. But Forsburn made it sound like it was the only smart place to be in, and they had nothing to say about it. All they had were excuses and lies. Then some random guy walked up and headbutted my brother out of the room. I literally caught fire that day. Then he had the nerve to start throwing out demands and accusations. All you Firelanders want is our land and trees. Your kind has no place here. Get out of our forest or we'll make you. At that point, my father and I were literally on the same page. He said, we're not leaving here empty-handed. If we've got to fight to get you to listen, then so be it. And I was this close to pouncing.
That explains why I wear this mask. After I heard the news, my heart sank. I thought I could get through to them. It would be the pinnacle of my career as a diplomat of the Firelands, but I should have seen that coming. The following day was a day Aether would never forget. The fight Zetterburn and I had with Maple and Craft was gruesome. As our armies clashed, we tried to make our move on the two most known protectors. It was my first time out in the field of battle.
Forsburn and I always used to spar when we were kids, and it was always to a standstill. My non-stop assault got me a couple of advantages every here and there, and Forsburn with his tricks and mind games always seemed to match my every move. Every time I thought I got a leg up on him, he always thought of something to match me. Then I realized we couldn't beat each other. And Forsburn said the most inspiring thing to me. He said, Zetterburn, we've been at this for years, and never once could either of us say and prove that one of us was better than the other. I had no idea what he meant by that. Then he said this. You know how there's two guys who are the best and they go toe-to-toe with each other? I said, yeah. Then Forsburn said, you want to know the question on everyone's mind once the dust settles? I didn't know what he meant by that, but I knew I was going to like it.
I then said, what if they worked together? He and I were exhausted, but his face and eyes lit up like the stars above. I then replied with, I know I can't beat you. You know you can't beat me. We tackled incredible odds before, and now we're about to move on to one of the biggest places in Aether. With the two of us working together, we can take that forest for ourselves and show off just how great the Firelands are.
I was as tired as a dog after my long workout, but my heart erupted. I felt so good about what he said. Forsberg and I made our move on Crag and Maple, and I looked him in the eyes.
Then he replied with a smile, and we tackled them with everything we had. But it wasn't easy. Crag and Maple were no ordinary people. As I fought Maple, I racked my cerebrum with every strategy I could, and nothing was working. Fighting someone with a hold field advantage couldn't be more hazardous. My strategies had her on the ropes a few times, but she was always in control of our battle.
Crag could take a beating like no one else could. I continued to claw and burn that hunk of rock, and he just wouldn't budge. Every time I would react to his counter, he would charge right on through. My force was always quick and relentless. His style was just slow and consistent. It was like watching the clouds move and then moving a boulder when I blocked it. He was just so heavy.
Weeks and weeks of attacks and counterattacks. Zetterburn and I were tapped out, and Maple and Crag were also out of steam. So the both of us withdrew our forces with our father's last order.
That night, I could not be any more upset at myself. I let a war last for 6 months and got no type of advantage whatsoever. We didn't step on foot in the right direction.
I was more controlled than Zetterburn, but his flames of pride were inside me as well. That was a problem I couldn't fix, and I nearly killed myself over it. Day in and day out, I worked everything I could on the field and in the boardroom, and the flag still stands. Days after Zetterburn and I recuperated, I started to realize there was a conspiracy against my father. I was out of patience at the time, so I searched relentlessly for the perpetrator.
Then, one night, I went to check on my dad, and I found Forsberg's knife near my dad's corpse covered in his blood. I just ran away from a fight, and my brother goes off and kills our father.
I was so close to finding the people who killed my father, I could almost taste it. And now my brother accuses me of killing the man I was sworn to protect. Zetterburn hunted me down like the animal he thought I was, and the populace was of no aid as well. I had a bounty of 50 million on my head. Everyone I knew either wanted to kill me or turn me in, so I ran, exiling myself from my own kingdom. Months later, I found a tribe of people who worked with smoke, and immediately I found myself part of their group. We grew our tribe into a small nation led by me, and now I have a group of elites to do my bidding, and I'd be foolish not to put it into good use.
My army dwindled a little, but we were still strong. Our target was Forsberg. Our legacy cannot be fulfilled until he's down for the count.
I needed to take my nation back. Zetterburn continues to accuse people like he did me the Fireland that wouldn't fall, making them fall fast. But to answer the questions presented, do I think your heart can lead you to your destiny? Not alone. It's gonna take a little more than heart to find the purpose you serve.
Is honesty really the best policy? Sometimes. Don't count on it, though.
Are the people you trust worthy of such an honor? You can't trust everyone, even family.
Is there an agenda hiding? Everyone has a goal to accomplish. It's only a matter of time before you find out if theirs aligns with yours. I wasn't so sure if the job I had was something I'm worthy of, but now there's no doubt in my mind. If my brother wants to get in my way, he'll join our father. This kingdom and its legacy belong to me.